watching live from New Delhi. This is DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and coming up in the next hour, UK begins detaining migrants for deportation to Rwanda post passage of legislation. Top UN officials call on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to reconsider the plan. German police arrests a European Parliament staffer on suspicion of spying for China. Berlin calls it a potential attack on European Union democracy. Beijing rejects it as a hype. High-octane campaigning underway, cutting across party lines ahead of second phase polling on April 26th for 89 seats across 13 states. And Hanuman Jayanti celebrated across India, marking birth of Lord Hanuman, the revered Indian deity. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's flagship Rwanda bill has passed through Parliament, but it seems that its further passage might hit a roadblock. Reportedly, 5 people have died trying to cross the English Channel from France hours after Britain passed a bill to deport migrants to Rwanda. In fact, the news coming in is that top UN officials have also called on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to reconsider the plan. Dheeraj Das gets us more.
The United Kingdom on Tuesday began detaining migrants for deportation to Rwanda after the UK Parliament passed the Rwanda migrant deportation legislation. The legislation aims to stop irregular cross-channel migration from northern France. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promised to overcome further challenges and press ahead with deportation flights to Rwanda in a battle that exposed deep rifts in his Conservative Party. Welcoming the bill, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on Tuesday said nothing will stand in our way of getting flights to Rwanda off the ground. He also described the passage of his landmark bill as a fundamental change in the handling of global migration. The Rwanda scheme, agreed upon in April 2022 by the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson, is designed to deter migrants from coming to Britain illegally and break the business model of people smugglers. Under the plan, anyone who arrived in Britain illegally after Jan 1st, 2022 is being sent to Rwanda. If successful, they could be granted refugee status and allowed to stay in Rwanda. If not, they could apply to settle in Rwanda on other grounds or seek asylum in another safe third country. No asylum seeker would be able to apply to return to the UK. The legislation has been met with outrage from UN and rights group, with United Nations top officials calling on UK to reconsider its plan to transfer asylum seekers to Rwanda, warning the move could have a harmful impact on human rights and refugee protection.
Following the passage of the Safety of Rwanda Bill by the UK Parliament, 2 UN leaders have again sounded the alarm on the harmful impact it will have on global responsibility sharing, human rights and refugee protection. Filippo Grandi and Volker Turk are calling on the UK government to reconsider its plan to transfer asylum seekers to Rwanda and instead to take practical measures to address irregular flows of refugees and migrants based on international cooperation and respect for international human rights law.
Hours after Britain passed the bill to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda, at least 5 migrants, including a 7-year-old girl, lost their lives while attempting to cross the English Channel from France to Britain. The deaths occurred after an overcrowded small boat carrying around 110 people set out to cross one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. The French Coast Guard was still searching for any survivors. The UK government also signed a new migration treaty with Rwanda. Home Secretary James Cleverly said it guarantees that anyone sent to Rwanda would not be at the risk of being returned to their home country. According to the House of Lords, which is the upper house of Parliament, Rwanda is a safe third country for the purpose of removing its individuals to Rwanda. Prime Minister Sunak on Monday said the first flights would take off in 10 to 12 weeks' time. He also pointed out that an airfield was on standby, slots were booked for flights, 500 staff were ready to escort migrants, and courts have been reserved to process appeals. Dheeraj Das report for DD India.
For more updates and to get the drift of the story, DD India correspondent Julia Chapman joins us live from London. Thank you very much, Julia, for joining us. Now, make us first of all understand the significance of the Rwanda Asylum Law and, of all places, why Rwanda?
Well, this has been a policy, as we've been hearing, that's been running along for the last couple of years and now has finally been approved by the UK Parliament. It hasn't yet received royal assent, but that's only a formality, so we are expecting it to all be moving ahead after today. And what this effectively does is allows the British government to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda, the East African country, if they arrived here in the UK illegally. Now, Rishi Sunak's pledge has been to stop the boats. He says this policy will be a deterrent to prevent people from making the perilous journey that has killed 5 people in the early hours of Tuesday morning. More than 6,000 people have made the crossing since the beginning of this year. There was a dip in numbers last year, but they look to be exceeded this year. And not only is that a logistical problem for the UK government, it's also a political one, which is why it has devoted so much energy to getting this policy across the line. Why Rwanda? A number of countries had been considered. Rwanda was considered to be the best option, and an agreement was arranged with the government there for the UK to invest heavily in a fund helping the development of the country.
Having said that, Prime Minister Sunak has also promised that he would start sending asylum seekers to Rwanda from July. That means a few months from now. But what are you picking up? Are there going to be more roadblocks in implementing it further?
Although all the legislative hurdles have now been cleared, there are still likely to be further legal challenges. Migrant charities that support asylum seekers coming to this country say that they are going to mount legal challenges to individual deportation cases. So this will allow those asylum seekers who've been identified for deportation to appeal those deportations. There could also be further challenges from the European Court of Human Rights. That is a court that helps to underpin the European Convention on Human Rights, something that Rishi Sunak said he is prepared to leave if it tries to block this policy. So there could still be legal challenges, but the government says it is determined to overcome them.
As far as the domestic political compulsions are concerned, Julia, for British Prime Minister, is it a sort of a political masterstroke, something which may likely boost his Conservative Party's quote-unquote dipping fortunes before an election later this year?
Well, the poll numbers certainly aren't looking good for Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party. He has been focusing a lot of energy on this policy. It is a popular one among the Conservative base, but pollsters suggest it's unlikely to swing any undecided voters or any voters who have already decided on voting for the opposition Labour Party. There have been widespread criticisms of this policy from Labour. They say it is very expensive and not particularly effective. They don't believe that it will be an effective deterrent to people trying to arrive in this country. And there's also the issue of timing, because the boats or the planes aren't going to be taking off for Rwanda until July. The Prime Minister only has 6 months from then or so in order to call a general election. So we may not necessarily see the impact of this policy, even if it does act as a deterrent for arrivals here, which many people are questioning in the first place.
Lastly, there seems to be a lot of pressure coming in, or perhaps hard line taken by UN. Do you think that's going to be of any consequence? UN saying that the asylum seekers' rights are in danger?
Well, we have heard the government hitting back at those kinds of criticism, but you're right. UN commissioners for human rights and refugees making their objections known today, saying this policy is harmful and concerning. They say it's the latest in a progressively restrictive set of laws issued by the UK government, and they say that the government isn't meeting its obligations on protecting refugees. But Speaking today, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak insisted that this was a compassionate policy and would ultimately help prevent the kind of loss of life that we've been seeing in the English Channel today. So we're unlikely to see any backing down from Rishi Sunak and his government.
We'll have to see really how this pans out from here on till July at least. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you joining us live from London, Julia. Thank you. In other news, in a fresh onslaught, Israel has reportedly bombarded northern Gaza overnight in some of the heaviest shellings in weeks. Meanwhile, UN Rights Chief Volker Turk has taken a very strong cognizance on the destruction of the Nasir and Al-Shifa medical facilities in Gaza and also the reports of mass graves containing hundreds of bodies there, calling it horrific. Rabindra Chauhan of DD India gets us more in this report.
In the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, the Israeli military rejected the allegation that Palestinian bodies have been buried at Nasir Hospital in Khan Yunis. The UN Rights Chief, Volker Turk, expressed concern about such a report on Tuesday.
We are horrified also by the destruction of An-Nasr Medical Complex and Al-Shifa Medical Complex and the reports of the discovery of mass graves in and around facilities. And we call for independent, effective, transparent investigations into the deaths.
Meanwhile, the mediator for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, Qatar, stated on Tuesday that it is still committed to mediating a ceasefire despite worries that politicians looking to score points are undermining its efforts.
We have deep frustration with such statements, especially when they come out of officials who are part of the establishment and understand exactly what the Qatari role and what the Qatari coordination with the international community has been over the mediation and over its humanitarian role.
Amid the reports that Hamas political chiefs are exploring moving their base of operations out of Qatar, it also said there was no justification to end the presence of an office for Hamas in Doha. While the US has accused Hamas of changing its demands in the ceasefire and hostage release negotiations with Israel, saying Hamas is more interested in a full-scale regional war than a peace agreement.
What you have seen over the past few weeks is Hamas move the goalposts. There are demands that they have made. Israel has moved some way to meeting those demands, and Hamas has then changed their demands. And so it certainly does seem like Hamas is more interested in a full-scale regional war.
On Tuesday, the Israeli military said its airstrikes killed 2 Hezbollah fighters in southern Lebanon as air raid sirens sounded in northern Israel. As the situation in West Asia remains volatile, despite the delivery of humanitarian aid, efforts to have a durable ceasefire, the spectre of further violence looms large over an embattled enclave. Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
German police have arrested an employee of a European Parliament member belonging to the Alternative for Germany or AfD party on suspicion of spying for China. Berlin has called it a potential attack on EU democracy, while Beijing has rejected it as a hype. The staffer worked as an assistant for Maximilian Krauss, the AfD's top candidate in the European Parliament elections. Krauss says that the employee will be dismissed immediately if the allegations are proven true. Notably, the arrest happened the same day when 3 German nationals were arrested on suspicion of working with China's Ministry of State Security. And still to come on DD India News Hour, coming up next. Coming up next, it's election season in India. Electioneering hits all-time high ahead of the second phase of polling in general elections 2024. And intense heat wave conditions in parts of India impact hectic campaigning as well.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD Indian News Hour. I'm Sakal Patel. Now let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Well, shifting focus to great Indian elections, voting for 89 seats across 13 states will be held in the second phase of polling, that is on April 26th. And among the major states going to the polls in this round are Assam with 5 seats, Bihar with 5 seats, Chhattisgarh 3 seats, Karnataka 14 seats, Kerala 20, Madhya Pradesh 7 seats, Maharashtra 8 seats. UP has 8 seats in this phase, Rajasthan with 13 and West Bengal with 3 seats in this phase. And after the second phase, the elections will be over in the southern state of Kerala and Rajasthan. Syed Abzarul Hassan gets us a roundup of election-related news of the day.
The poll campaigning for the lower house of Indian Parliament has reached its crescendo for the second and third phases. Political parties are crisscrossing and leaving no stone unturned to woo voters. BJP senior leader and India's Prime Minister held back-to-back rallies. While addressing a public meeting in the western state of Rajasthan, he stressed stability and honesty in public life.
एक स्थिर और ईमानदार सरकार देश के विकास के लिए क्या कुछ कर सकती है, ये पिछले 10 वर्षों में सबने देखा है। भारत आज दुनिया की सबसे तेजी से बढ़ती हुई बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है।
Prime Minister also addressed public meetings in Chhattisgarh's Janjgir and Mahasmund city. While Indian Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah addressed a public rally in Raiganj of West Bengal and later in the day the southern city of Bengaluru and Maharashtra. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a public gathering in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh and later in the day in the eastern state of Bihar. BJP President JP Nadda addressed a public meeting in the central state of Madhya Pradesh. Bihar's Chief Minister and Janata Dal United Party Chief Nitish Kumar addressed a public meeting in the state's Katihar city. From the opposition bloc, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi attended a rally in Chitradurg of southern state of Karnataka.
ये देश आपका है, ये देश हमारा है और हमें इस देश की चिंता है। आपके संघर्ष बढ़ रहे हैं, तरक्की नहीं हो रही है, मुश्किलें ज्यादा हो रही हैं। मेरे किसान भाइयों के लिए मुश्किल बढ़ रही है, एमएसपी नहीं मिलता, जीएसटी हर सामान पर है, महंगाई की वजह से आप कमा नहीं पाते।
Southern state of Kerala's Alappuzha city. While Samajwadi Party National General Secretary Shivpal Singh Yadav and Mainpuri candidate Dimple Yadav campaigned, Mayawati also addressed a public meeting in Uttar Pradesh's Meerut city. While Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath took out a roadshow in the western city of Meerut. Voting for the second phase will take place on the 26th of April, while the third phase voting will take place on 7th May. Syed Abzarul Hassan's report for DD India.
The ongoing general elections in the largest democracy are also bearing the brunt of the heatwave conditions hitting some regions of the country. The rising mercury has had an impact, remember, on the poll percentage in the first phase, which started on April 19th. DD India's Vishal Baristo brings us this report.
The heat is on. Under the tent, this is an election meeting to woo voters in the Indian state of Rajasthan. Facing the music are the contenders, as the first round has not been quite encouraging. The average count was hardly 50% in the first round. Indian summer surely is the spoil sport, particularly in the desert state of Rajasthan.
Campaign itself is a tough task during these days, and the whole election is in a summer. So not only in Rajasthan, in all over India, so everywhere there is a heat waves are there. But election hai to hai. I mean, you will have to work hard, and you will have to request people that they should vote, because not because of heat, vote percentage should not be down.
Water tanker at the meeting site is a must to quench the thirst and keep the electorate in good humor. Tents, headgear and whatnot, nothing can beat the sweltering sun. It is very hot in Rajasthan, very difficult for us, but we have to cast our vote. This is for the nation's interest. In this part of the country, there are traditional drinks to beat the heat, as April followed by the months of May and June force you to stay under the shade.
It is very important to keep yourself hydrated in this blistering heat, particularly when you are covering elections. And so, cane juice is the best remedy. But certainly quite a challenge for those who have to organize and campaign election meetings. With cameraman Ramakant in Kota, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
And amidst the hustle and bustle of campaigning, DD India's Vishal Baristo also travelled to the countryside in the desert state of Rajasthan and found how Lotus, the national flower of India, has bloomed despite scorching heat conditions. In fact, Lotus flower these days seems to be in great demand as it is offered to the Almighty in temples as well. Vishal gets us more.
Surrounded by the Aravalli hills, this water body is situated in the southern part of Rajasthan, the largest Indian state. Filled with lotus blooms, this pond is an oasis in the scorching heat as mercury rises to 42 degrees in the first month of India's long summer season.
This is Lotus, the national flower of India and also the election symbol of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is palm of the hand that holds this flower. The palm of the hand is the election symbol of Congress. So who's going to have the crown of victory? Well, it is for the 4th June to decide. But as for now, in this scorching heat, these beautiful flowers, they are presenting a pleasant picture.
In India, various religions including Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism use lotus flower for praying. Because lotuses rise from the mud without stains, they are often viewed as a symbol of purity. It's used in worship as part of offerings, showered on idols, and is also the seat of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth.
हिंदू धर्म में कमल का विशेष महत्व है। ये आध्यात्मिक माना गया है। ब्रह्मा जी की उत्पत्ति भी कमल से ही हुई है। भगवान श्री हरि विष्णु भगवान के नाभि से कमल का फूल निकला हुआ है, इसमें से ब्रह्मा जी की उत्पत्ति हुई है।
The pink flower is a source of income for these women who sell them to temple goers after procuring them from the countryside.
एकादशी से लगा के हमेशा की पूजा में कमल चढ़ता भगवान के, कृष्ण जी को कमल पसंद है, लक्ष्मी नारायण को, इसलिए कमल चढ़ाया जाता है। अच्छा लगता है भगवान को, ये लक्ष्मी जी है, ये कमल है ना, ये लक्ष्मी जी है, इसलिए भगवान को जगन्नाथ को चढ़ाया जाता है। आज पूनम में तो भगवान का दिन है, तो लक्ष्मी जी के चरणों में चढ़ाया जाता है।
The lotus is an integral part of the lives of a large part of the Indian electorate. It has an intrinsic appeal and makes an effective calling card for India's ruling party. But does it play a direct role in garnering support among voters? That's anyone's guess. With Vishal Baristo in Udaipur, Rajasthan for DD India.
From Rajasthan, shifting focus to another state, that is Bihar, where the Punia constituency is witnessing fierce political battle between the NDA and the India Alliance. With the third independent candidate, many calculations from this seat could go wrong. Take a look at this special report from Punia constituency by DD India's Dibyendu Mondal.
The Punia constituency of Bihar is witnessing a three-corner fight in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024. The road to parliament from Punia became a trilateral fight after the entry of Pappu Yadav into the race. Once known for his dreaded criminal activities in the Simanchal region, he is contesting this time as an independent candidate, throwing off many political calculations off the board. The support from the people he has been getting is something to gauge at. Yadav's image over the years, people say, has changed as the Robin Hood of Punia. The BJP and the JDU alliance is also giving a tough fight in this seat. The JDU, BJP and the LJP are contesting as an alliance partners this time. with the JDU's Santosh Kumar Kushwaha fighting it out against Pappu Yadav and the RJD's Bhima Bharati.
BJP is winning. BJP has given us many things, from ration to everything.
The people of this constituency are mostly dependent on agriculture. Their livelihood depends on the maize and makhana farming. Into the deep hinterlands of the Punia Lok Sabha constituency, many have still not received the schemes and benefits of the Modi government. They still live in mud houses. Many complain how the local leaders have deprived them, but still have hope on Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
We
will vote for Modi. Who else? Under Nitish Kumar governance, we are safe. That's why we will vote for JDU.
Even though there are few takers for the Congress and the RJD, the population and the caste combination, which plays a key role in Bihar, is going to make the contest in Punia an interesting to watch for. With just less than 24 hours left for the political campaign in the 5 seats of Bihar to end, political parties here are putting in their full might to woo the voters. But come 26th April, it will be the voters of this region that will decide who their parliamentarian would be in the Parliament of India in Delhi. With camera person Jagmohan, this is Dibyendu Mandal from Punia for DD India.
Let's go live across to DD India correspondent's presence on ground. Joining me live is our senior anchor Mark Lin, joining us live from Darjeeling in West Bengal, where there are 3 important constituencies that are going to go to polls in the second phase. Deepika Mehto joining us from Tripura and Nandita Dagar joining us from the Union Territory of Jammu. Thank you very much. Mark, quickly coming to you now. Very crucial seat out there. There are 3 seats important for the BJP because right now they have dominated these 3 constituencies looking at the past records. And you're reporting live from Darjeeling. What's the contest and core issues that are in fray this time around, considering the way BJP has gone all guns blazing, challenging Mamata's citadel?
Yes, indeed, Sakal, these 3 constituencies, Balurghat, Raiganj and Darjeeling, are strong BJP strongholds. In fact, the BJP has have won the seat in 2019.
Yes.
But Trinamool Congress is putting up a strong fight, especially in Raiganj, because that is an area where they are hoping to make inroads. But here in Darjeeling, it is a hill state, a hill district, but it is also a pretty large district that has part of North Dinajpur in it, Siliguri in it. So there is the sizable vote share in the hills part is very much in favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. But as we go lower down, as we reach Siliguri and other parts of North Dinajpur, it is more of an even contest. So one can't be sure as to how the voters will vote on the 26th. But of course, the issues remain the same. In this particular area, there has been, the issue that they had wanted a separate Gorkha land. That is no longer on the table as an issue. But you can see that the Gorkhas support the Bharatiya Janata Party to a large extent and have been supporting them. And that is the reason why the BJP has held this particular seat since a very long time. More than the last 4 elections, they have won the seat in Darjeeling. Not quite the case in Raiganj, where in fact in 2014 the seat was with the CPIM. The BJP wrested the seat in 2019. And of course in Balurghat the BJP has won the seat both in 2014 and in 2019.
That's right.
So this is the condition here. It's largely it is a strong BJP stronghold, and the BJP is likely to continue to hold on to these seats. And we've seen how
the Member Parliament Raju Bista in Darjeeling has been campaigning very aggressively, and yes, as you rightly pointed out, the overwhelming support of Gorkha Janmukti Morcha, the way they've always put their weight behind BJP there in West Bengal, which hasn't really gone well with Mamata Banerjee. Anyway, Mark, thank you very much. Just stay with us. Quickly coming to you, Nandita, now very crucial polls. explain it to our viewers, the significance of the polls. Of course, this being the first elections post-abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu as well as Kashmir. The issues are different, but post-delimitation, how's the contest really looking like in the Jammu constituency?
Yes, Sakal, post the abrogation or revocation of the Article 370, which has actually enthused the population here in Jammu. The people of Jammu constituency have largely welcomed the revocation of Article 370. So Riasi, Samba and the Jammu districts comprise this Lok Sabha constituency of Jammu in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and 17 lakh voters are going to decide the fate of about 24 candidates. Primarily, the contest is between the BJP's Jugal Kishore Sharma and the Congress's Raman Bhalla. Now, this is a battle of prestige for the BJP because the BJP is looking to make a hat-trick or win it for the third time in a row with the contest of Jugal Kishore and Jugal Kishore Sharma. The people over here are largely BJP supporters. But also there have been a few anti-government protests against the local government's recruitment scams and rising power bills. Also, the BJP is looking to woo back the voters who are actually, some of them who may be disgruntled because the BJP says that it has built a railway track or launched a train directly from Jammu to Katra, which is the gateway to the Mata Vaishno Devi shrine, which is a very famous shrine and is revered all across India. Also, there is a Tirupati Balaji temple, which the BJP has initiated the construction of in the Shivalik Hills near Jammu. So they feel that their ideological voter will of course vote for them. Also, the voter over here is largely about 81% of the voters here are Hindu voters, 8% of them are Sikh voters, 7% of them are Muslim voters. It also, this constituency also houses a lot of refugees, not just currently Rohingya refugees, which of course will not vote and do not have voting rights, but also refugees, not just the Kashmiri Pandits from the exodus of 1989 from the Kashmir Valley, but also the refugees from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So here, this is something which is a battle of prestige for the BJP to win.
All right, Nandita, thank you. And let's quickly shift to and go over to Tripura, where my colleague Deepika has been extensively sending us those reports. It's quite a linear and a straight fight between CPIM and the BJP, but important to note here the way the regional outfit Tripura Motha has also put its weight behind the BJP.
Indeed, when we talk about the fight here, it is directly between the BJP and the CPIM because the BJP has got a strong backing of Tripura Motha party, which is the leading party over here, one of the biggest parties in Tripura and especially a dominating party in the eastern region of Tripura. And also, it also have the backing of PFTI party. Now, till yesterday, we were talking about the tribal community here, but it is also important to focus because when we talk about the Tripura east side, which also hosts Dhalai district, the Riang or the Bru community is also there, whose settlement was approved by the Home Ministry in the year 2020. And now there are 2,500 votes which come here from the Riang community. So we had a word with the people of the Riang community who say that this is their first time that they're going to vote to the parliamentary elections, though they have voted in the assembly elections before for the first time, and this is their first parliamentary elections. We also had a word with many first-time voters also. They are excited and they are all set to put forth their demand once the party comes into force, whichever party wins the election. Secondly, we also had a word with the election commission here because this is a highly sensitive area when we talk about the Riang community. Not only it is atop the hill, but when we talk about the operational forces and the sensitivity, it is indeed a red area for them. So they have put in place special arrangements, special operational skills for this particular region.
All right, thank you very much, Team DD India on ground, Darjeeling, West Bengal, Marklin. Thank you, Nandita from Jammu, and many thanks, Deepika from Tripura. Thank you. And still to come on DD India News Hour, coming up next. We'll have a discussion with the expert on the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's flagship Rwanda bill and its forward movement and passage and the repercussions of it. And also Dr. Jaishankar, the Minister of External Affairs of India, says that ASEAN is a crucial pillar in India's wider Indo-Pacific mission. Coming up next, also ISRO sharing satellite images showing expanding glacial lakes in the Himalayas.
Tracking the first phase of general elections, Team Poll Pulse has reached India's northeast in Assam. This is the tea city of India, Dibrugarh.
They are not getting jobs in the local area like in Dibrugarh or nearby districts and all.
Home to the finest tea, the state is set for a cracker of a contest. This is 2024. Can the Congress and allies offer a fight back, or will the Modi juggernaut be unstoppable? Watch Poll Pulse on DT India.
You're watching DT India News Hour. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and let's go back to our one of the lead stories of the day, the Rwanda Asylum Law. And to discuss that, Anil Wadhwa, former senior diplomat, is joining us on the show. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador Wadhwa, for joining us. First of all, if you could just explain the significance of this law and why, of all places, British government chooses Rwanda, and a little background to it as well.
Well, it all started in 2022 when Rishi Sunak's government decided that enough was enough as far as the boat people were concerned who were coming into the UK and seeking asylum. And therefore, they came up with this scheme after looking at various countries of talking to the Rwandese authorities about taking asylum seekers and interviewing them and determining whether they were fit for asylum or not. And if they were found fit for asylum, that they would stay in Rwanda. Otherwise, they would be deported back to no other country but to the United Kingdom. Now, that latter part of the scheme is still in doubt. Because the fact remains that this particular law has taken 2 years to be passed. And that is because it has faced a number of challenges, both in the UK Parliament as well as also in the European Court, primarily because Britain is signatory to the European Human Rights Convention. And therefore, the jurisdiction of the court applies here. And they've always said that this is illegal and cannot be done. But the British government of the day is determined to carry it forward. And if necessary, they're also determined to pull out of the European Convention.
And there's also this hard line by UN. They have asked Sunak to reconsider, and they've called it a big danger for the asylum rights by and large. Do you think that's going to hold any ground?
Not as far as the UK government is concerned, because I think the United Nations Human Rights Commission is concerned that if this policy goes through and is implemented, then other nations who are facing similar situations of asylum seekers would adopt similar measures. And in this case, asylum seekers would have difficulties in seeking asylum. And as far as the UN is concerned, that is a policy that should be continued.
Sir, but about Sunak and his political ambitions, there's also this conversation going on that it's going to actually, it's going to actually boost maybe his Conservative Party's dipping fortunes in coming elections.
Well, that was the whole aim. But had this policy been implemented, had this law been passed earlier, and of course, even now that it is passed, it faces some potential hurdles going forward. The earliest that any asylum seekers can go to Rwanda would be perhaps July. And it'll give only 6 months before the elections in the UK are to take place. It's too short a time to assess how successful this policy is going to be. and the voters are also going to be listening to the comments of the opposition, which says that the amount of money that has been spent into the scheme, which has largely been unproductive so far, will nullify what the efforts of the UK government has made so far. So there are two sides to this. I think unless there are visible results, the government of the day is not going to benefit much from this policy.
So do you see more pressure mounting? There are reports suggesting that 5 people have already died trying to cross the English Channel from France, hours after the passage of the bill.
Yes, this is an ongoing issue. I don't think it is something new.
Okay.
It's just that it's been highlighted now because of the bill has passed and it's very much in the news. But if you look at the statistics over the years, you find that this is precisely why the government wanted to stop the asylum seekers from coming in boats into the UK, because a number of them had died in the process. And there was, of course, what they said, there was a safer way to find them to seek asylum and not just land up in the UK in these boats, which was full of danger.
But final view, sir, going forward, do you see more challenges, more roadblocks in its implementation? July is the month that he said that he'll start the process of sending the refugees.
Well, what I can see in future coming up as a major hurdle is the European Court, which is going to invoke the Human Rights Convention of the European Human Rights Commission, and therefore UK will have to decide whether it wants to stay in that convention or not going forward.
Ambassador Wadhwa, many thanks. I really appreciate you joining us on this story. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And now moving on, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has delivered his remarks at the first ASEAN Future Forum on Tuesday. Speaking at the forum virtually, Dr. Jaishankar said that ASEAN is at the heart of India's Act East policy and is a crucial pillar in India's wider Indo-Pacific mission.
ASEAN is at the heart of our Act East policy and is a crucial pillar in India's wider Indo-Pacific vision. We support ASEAN unity, ASEAN centrality, and the ASEAN outlook on Indo-Pacific. India truly believes that a strong and unified ASEAN can play a constructive role in the emerging regional architecture of the Indo-Pacific. The synergy between India's Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative, IPOI, and the ASEAN Outlook on Indo-Pacific, AOIP, that is reflected in our ASEAN-India Leaders Joint Statement, provides a strong framework for cooperation, including in addressing challenges to comprehensive security.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news. The Indian Space Agency ISRO has shared satellite images showing expanding glacial lakes in the Indian Himalayas. Glacial lake outburst floods can have devastating consequences for communities downstream. Glacial lake outburst floods occur when glacial lakes release large volumes of meltwater due to the failure of natural dams, resulting in sudden and severe flooding downstream. India's national capital, Delhi, received a sudden spell of rain, bringing respite from heat. The pre-monsoon rain was accompanied by strong winds, bringing down the temperature in Delhi. The dust storm in the evening came after a scorching sunny afternoon when the temperature reached around 35 degrees Celsius. The full bloom of mustard fields in India's Jammu and Kashmir attracts tourists and serves as a mesmerizing spectacle that entices tourists to behold the region's natural charm and scenic beauty. Tourists stop to the field to admire the beauty of the yellow mustard fields. Still to come on DD India News Hour, coming up next. Hanuman Jayanti celebrations across the country.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Tracking the first phase of general elections, Team Poll Pulse has reached India's northeast in Assam. This is the tea city of India, Dibrugarh.
They are
not getting jobs in the local area, like in Dibrugarh or nearby districts and all.
Home to the finest tea, the state is set for a cracker of a contest. This is 2024. Can the Congress and allies offer a fight back, or will the Modi juggernaut be unstoppable? Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Sakal Bhatt. Let's move on to some other news and updates. Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who is in Warsaw, visited troops with Polish Premier Donald Tusk and NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg. The visit by the British Prime Minister and NATO Secretary General is part of Poland's plan to rebuild its security position in Europe. Rishi Sunak is also set to unveil $617 million package for Ukraine in this visit. Russia has announced plans to increase attacks on Ukrainian storage facilities containing weapons provided by Western nations on Tuesday, as the United States gets ready to finally release a long-awaited batch of military aid. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu stated that Moscow had dispelled the myth of superiority of Western weapons, referring to the U.S. supply of military aid package worth nearly $61 billion to Kyiv.
In proportion to the threats posed by the United States and its allies, we will continue to improve the composition and structure of the armed forces and increase the production of the most popular weapons and military equipment. We will increase the intensity of attacks on logistic centers and storage bases for Western weapons. The Russian armed forces will continue to solve assigned tasks until the objectives of the special operation are fully achieved.
Russian forces have claimed control over the Novomikhailivka region of Ukraine on Monday. This is the Moscow's second territorial claim in 2 days. Ukraine, however, has contested Russia's claims, insisting that Kyiv very much held the settlement and was engaged in ongoing efforts to retain it. Russia had previously claimed to have captured Bohdanivka village, which is in the northeast of Chasiv on Sunday. India's cybersecurity industry is making a significant impact of the ongoing Gulf Information Security Expo and Conference 2024 in Dubai. The Data Security Council of India has brought together 22 Indian companies to showcase the nation's growing expertise in this critical field. The participation underscores India's remarkable progress in cybersecurity, fueled by a surge in startups supported by both government and industry initiatives. Consul General of India at Dubai, Satish Kumar Sivan, inaugurated the Indian Pavilion at Jaising. Hanuman Jayanti is celebrated annually across India, and it marks the birth of Indian deity Lord Hanuman, the revered deity known for his devotion, strength and loyalty towards Lord Rama. Here's a report by DD India correspondent Kriti Vadera.
This year, the festivities bring communities together to commemorate the auspicious occasion and reflect on the significance of Lord Hanuman's teachings. From elaborate temple ceremonies to vibrant processions, Hanuman Jayanti is observed with fervour and enthusiasm in various parts of India. Devotees gather at temples dedicated to Lord Hanuman, offering prayers, chanting hymns and participating in rituals to seek Lord Hanuman's blessings for strength, courage and protection.
This is my emotion. I emotionally connected with Lord Hanuman. I celebrate this day as a big festival. This is pleasure for us.
There are thousands of people today and I feel very positivity and I came every Tuesday and I love this temple.
I am a die-hard devotee of Lord Hanuman. I am coming to this temple for the last 20 years on every Tuesday and it changed me a lot and today is a very special day.
Beyond India's borders, the influence of Lord Hanuman extends to Southeast Asia, where he revered as a significant figure in Hindu mythology and cultural heritage. Countries like Thailand, Indonesia, Cambodia and Malaysia have temples dedicated to Lord Hanuman, reflecting his enduring presence and impact in the region. From India to Southeast Asia, his teachings of courage, humility and devotion continue to inspire millions, transcending geographical boundaries and uniting diverse communities in reverence and celebration.
As Hanuman Jayanti unveils across India, the celebration serves as a reminder to the enduring devotion and the cultural legacy of Lord Hanuman. With camera person Rajesh Kumar, I am Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.